that works, right? Ruth? Hello? You drop off the van tomorrow?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for the ride. Oh, and you've been great at the club. Really. Thank you.
Thanks.
Night.
Hey everybody, we're back with Ozark Talks number 6, the book of Ruth. Now we just did a little research on the book of Ruth from the Bible, and we discovered some of the basic lessons inherent to the story are that God will use small things to accomplish great plans, and also that God has a plan of redemption for everyone involved. So we may see those themes running through this episode and, of course, through more of the series. So let's keep those in mind as we kick right in. Hey, Taylor. Hey, Lance. Welcome, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey there.
So our opening scene, another great one. We have Marty just biking peacefully down the road in the woods, and he gets kidnapped by Ash and some other thugs. They're saying, get in the truck, get in the truck. What I liked about this scene was Marty fighting. Marty didn't just go with it. Get the fuck away from me. Yeah, it's just wonderful. Just kicking and fighting, and they can't, takes 3 giant guys to get him in the truck. So I think that was a great establishing scene that Marty's not going to go easily if you're trying to fuck with him.
Mm-hmm.
The next scene, we see Charlotte and Wendy talking, driving down the same road, and Charlotte's telling her, I'm not doing the swim team this year. So we see Charlotte stepping out of her old ways and growing in some ways here. Next, that conversation gets interrupted because they come upon Marty's bike and his helmet, and then they go to try to call him. Wendy tries to call him, and his phone rings, and it's laying there in the grass. So they're immediately terrified. No idea what could be going on. Next cutscene, we get to Jacob Snell greeting Marty out of the back of the truck at the Snells.
Welcome to our home, Marty Byrde.
And he gives them an entire tour of the opium or the heroin operations. And Snell explains to him that they moved up the mountain after the power company stole and flooded their land. And he tells Marty, you're not going to get what you want with your pretty little words here. So he's telling him, I can see through what you're doing.
And this is the first time, I believe, that Marty discovers what the Snells are doing.
Yeah, he had no idea before this. I mean, he had an idea they were up to something, but no idea what it was. At this point, Darlene reveals that they know everything about him. They know his color of his toothbrush, what windows they leave open at night, everything. And they also tell him that they realize they might not be able to kill him for fear of retaliation from the drug cartel, who they don't know about yet. And instead of threatening him or his family, they tell him that they're going to cut the baby out of Gracie June if any more production happens on the church. Any more construction on the church, they're going to go after her and her baby. Of course, Gracie is the wife of Mason, the preacher.
Mm-hmm.
So they obviously know that Marty's not a cold-blooded killer. He's somebody who would care about that and try to prevent that from happening. Otherwise, they wouldn't use it as leverage that way.
Right, so it's a deeper establishment of Marty's ethics here, or not his ethics, of Marty's code, let's say.
Yeah, and Snell says that Marty has interrupted the ecology. There's a natural order to the Snells.
Marty's gotten in the way of it.
Mm-hmm.
So next we see Wendy and Charlotte arrive home before Marty, and they call the Blue Cat. He hasn't been there all day. Wendy is now loading a gun, which is also a nice scene. She's willing to take action. Marty gets home and he lies to the kids about just getting into a bike accident. Then we see Ruth with Wyatt. Wyatt tells her she looks nice. So they have a special connection, Ruth and Wyatt. I'm not sure where that's going to head later, but it is a nice connection.
Mhm.
They empower each other in a certain sense. So Ruth's getting all dressed up, and she goes to see her dad. Her dad's a total jackass, and he tells her that she has to kill Marty, and gives her a pretty slimy, fucked up speech about it.
Yeah, Ruth's being put in a bind for sure.
Mhm.
Between her loyalties and the life that she wants to live. And I noticed immediately that Ruth's dad resembles Petty.
Mm-hmm. The character does, doesn't he?
Mhm.
Yeah. His attitude and his look.
Mhm.
Well, there's a little cutscene there when we see Marty and Wendy talking and saying, we have to fix this. After he tells her what happened to Snills. Back to Ruth and her dad. She tells her dad that the money's starting to go low, that the cash is disappearing. And I get the sense there that Ruth does not want to kill Marty or to kill anyone. She's not interested in it, and it's paining her pretty bad.
Yeah, and then watching this again, I was surprised that she actually goes through with it, with attempting it. And of course, there's intervention that takes place, but she did go for it.
What I think was interesting there is that we're seeing the power that her dad has over her. And it might even be under threat of death that she's operating, because he's not at all warm toward her. She's just a tool for his effort.
Yeah, it's an incredible egg for her as far as taking on her personal power in her world and her life. And to see that
does not care about her at all.
No.
Give any expression of love or concern. He just tells her what to do.
Yeah.
This will be important later. Next, we see Petty and Russ, and Petty way big time setting up Russ to ask Marty for money. He explicitly says it at this point. What about that guy, that Marty Byrde? He's throwing a lot of money around.
Yeah. I got a kick out of there being some CFL football on the TV.
Oh, yeah. Is that Canadian Football League?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. I had no idea. Why do you think they were watching that?
I don't know. It seems pretty random. It seems like something might be on might be on in a dodgy hotel.
It's a decent scene. Petty's completely slimy, and Russ reveals a little bit that he thinks he's going to have some cash soon. Next scene, we see Wendy and Marty shut down the church idea with Mason. Grace says some Bible quote about things are going to be difficult before they're easy. And they're kind of upset by it. But they stopped the construction right away in line with the Snell's request. Next, we see Wyatt with Charlotte coming over and Russ in the background. And Charlotte gives back the Ray Bradbury Martian Chronicles book. Then we get a cutscene to Marty and Wendy. Marty saying, what if I can't do it? So we see Marty crack a little bit here. What if we can't do it? What if I can't launder the rest of the money? And Wendy says they'll run. Then they decide, no, they can't run. And then we see Wendy go to the realty office and asks for a bonus. She asked for half of the profits. And after some negotiation and the mom showing up and being an asshole, the mother of the realty guy, he gives her $25,000 plus her salary. So we see Wendy coming up here and getting some money for the family. Next, Marty asks Ruth for a ride the following day, and Ruth sees that as a perfect setup to kill him. Next, we see the blue cat just thriving, and Rachel says, I told you not to get your hopes up. Well, they're up.
Mm-hmm.
And Blue Cat did super well over 4th of July. Next scene, we get to Buddy and Wendy. Wendy telling Buddy to shut up. And then they talk a little bit. And Buddy gets all serious and says, I killed Jimmy Hoffa. watches for a response, and then starts laughing. So I wondered if that was actually true, if that'll end up being true in the end, that Buddy actually did do that. And then
Yeah, that whole story is a little over my head. I'm not familiar with Jimmy Hoffa.
well, he was a
The legend.
union leader in Chicago, and ended up being murdered, and his body was never found. They say it was maybe under the Cubs stadium or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, they're leaving Buddy's history a mystery still.
Mm-hmm. And now this I thought was funny is Buddy mentions, hey, there's a package inside. So remember, Wendy got told about the package by Buddy, who we've conceived of as death.
Hey, how's that heart?
Oh, it's fucking great. There's a package for you. Left it on the counter. Came this afternoon.
Thanks.
So Buddy's the one who left the package for them.
Mhm.
Of course, it was sent by someone else.
And also, Wendy confides in Buddy that she gave up her dreams to raise the kids. And,
Right. She quit working for Obama when Charlotte was born.
yeah, childcare cost more than her paycheck.
And that she was really good at it. So there's going to be,
Yeah.
he was good at campaigning. I think we'll see something related to that later on.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's just more about Wendy coming back to life in the Ozarks.
So the next scene, Marty gets home. Wendy is sitting there in shock in the dark. And he's like, what's going on? Why are you sitting in the dark? And she said, Dell sent a package. And the package is the eyeballs in a jar. So this is Dell's clever way of saying, I got my eyes on you, or some eyes on you. Next one, Ruth starts messing with the wiring to kill Marty, and she kills a mouse. That was a little sad, but we just see the scene where she's testing out her electrical plan to kill Marty. Next scene, we see Russ asking Ruth. Russ and Petty go in and ask Ruth for a meeting with Marty or for money. And she tells him to fuck off and that they'll be getting money right away. They'll be getting money soon.
She says things are in motion.
Yeah, she's keeping a lot from her family, and they think she's not doing anything, and she thinks they're short-sighted because she has the big picture in mind.
And that interaction, that little meeting that they had, is really important because they go back out to the truck, and at this point, Petty starts digging at Russ a little bit, saying, "What's in motion? What are you guys planning to do?" And basically tries to steer him away from doing something to Marty by saying, "Don't go doing something that's going to get your ass thrown in jail. I just fucking found you."
Yeah, that was a nice cover for him fishing for intel.
Yeah.
Put some emotional spin on it in the end, even though he was kind of showing his hand.
Well, and we see that Petty doesn't give a shit about Marty staying alive, except insofar that they need Marty for the case against the cartel. And he doesn't care about Russ. He just needs Russ for the case against the cartel. So Petty is just completely manipulative with everything he does. Next scene, we see one of the girls who seems a little more wholesome asks Charlotte to come and hang with her and her friends and have some fries. And Charlotte goes with Zach instead out to the Cove, where, of course, Zach fucks Charlotte. I thought that was interesting because he actually asks her if it's okay. So it's not depicted as a rape.
No.
It's depicted as they were both into it. She says, yes, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then she's getting her virginity, losing her virginity, and kind of freaked out by it.
Yeah, I think there's some foreshadowing there with Zach showing the condom, but I'm not sure if that condom makes it on. We'll see how that plays out in season 2.
Interesting.
Because there's a line in one of the episodes later on where Charlotte says to her parents, I've done all kinds of things, or something to that effect.
Yeah. Next scene, Marty doesn't need a ride anymore, but Ruth pushes him and convinces him that she'll come pick him up in the boat, and he goes with it. So he trusts Ruth to some degree. Then when they get to the dock, Marty doesn't die. And Ruth was totally sitting there in shock and like
Completely stunned.
completely stunned and losing it before he gets out. And then he gets out and doesn't die. And it looks like Petty saved him, because right then we see the scene, the camera backs up and we see Petty watching the whole scene with binoculars in the woods. And I thought this was great. Jonah shows up and puts the gun on Petty.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, on a rabbit hunt?" And then he cocks the rifle and he's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, didn't mean to bother."
And
Yeah.
Don't say anything. He's completely stoic throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing what Jonah's been through. The dead body on the dock, the guy breaking in his house, this guy in the woods. Like, holy shit. Was he 11?
I know.
12?
Yeah.
It's,
And he's keeping all of it to himself.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he's also just sort of patrolling the land with his rifle.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff there. Great. John, and the actor that plays that kid is wonderful. He's just great. Really soft-spoken. All right, and then we get to Marty and Wendy, and they realize they're going to make it. Marty's stoked. He sees all the money's going to happen. They're going to get it all to Dell. And they start kissing, they start connecting, and they start having sex. At this point, we see that it's not fully dealt with, and Marty is still blocked by the memory of Sugarwood.
Mhm.
And he duplicates the scene. He duplicates the scene
sex tape.
in the video, the sex tape with Wendy and Gary. And Wendy becomes aware that's what he's doing, and she's disturbed by it. And neither one of them seem to be too into it, although Marty's kind of like fucking out his problems. The impression I got, and Wendy's like, "Oh, fuck."
Yeah, that was a little disturbing. But it was in an episode 4 when Marty was continuing to watch the video.
Right.
It's this Sugarwood thing has power over Marty, and even though Marty's a great Jedi, he's got this one's sticking to him. This one's heavy.
Definitely. I think he worked some of it out with that sex scene, actually, but we'll see where it goes from there. Well, next scene, we get a little cut with Ruth telling Russ and Boyd that her plan didn't work out. Russ is all wasted, and he tells Ruth she pussed out and that she's a latchkey kid, which is, again, referring to the dad. And then he hits her. She spits in his face, and then he hits her. So we see that her home life is just total garbage, basically, too. We're seeing everyone's treating her like shit. So that becomes important a little later. Next scene, we see Charlotte finding out that Zach is gone, and he didn't say goodbye to her, didn't even get in touch with her. And Wyatt says, "I guess you're one of us now." And that just breaks Charlotte, and she leaves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really believable storytelling, the way that Charlotte responded to the entire Ozark experience.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to find her people.
Totally.
Or she is finding them. Yeah. You like the name of the book? Of the boat, Pocket Change.
Oh, is that the name of Zach's boat?
Yeah.
Bastard, huh?
Wow.
So the next scene we cut to, we get Ruth and Wendy. I thought this was an amazing scene. This is a huge, huge scene for Ruth. It's not a huge scene for Wendy in so much as that she's a mother and she's able to express this, but it's huge for her in that she's accepting Ruth into the family. So Ruth shows up, and Wendy sees her, and she's like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And doesn't treat her like the ruthless, no pun intended, doesn't treat her like the ruthless criminal that she thinks of herself as and that everyone treats her as. Wendy goes straight through the armor and sees the little girl and starts taking care of her, knows she got hit somehow, and Ruth says, "Oh, I tripped." And I loved Wendy's little story. Wendy's like, "Yeah, I tripped once. And then I went back and I tripped again. Then I tripped a third time. And you know what? Then I realized I'm never going to go down that path again. It's too expensive." So Wendy basically tells Ruth how she stopped being abused. And she's like, don't fuck. She's telling her, don't mess with people who do this to you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not your friend. And so Ruth is seeing like, oh my God, here's Wendy being my mom and basically explaining that her own dad and her own family are not to be trusted or relied upon at all, but that her and Marty are to be relied upon and trusted.
Yeah, and I would imagine that up until this point, Ruth has never had anybody who she could trust or rely upon, except for maybe the facade of her family.
And Wyatt's like,
Wyatt, I suppose, has been kind and supportive.
So Charlotte gets home in the middle of this, and she's pissed off and sad. Ruth wants to leave. And Wendy tells Ruth, call if you need anything at all. I think she might even given her 20 or some money or something like that.
Yeah, she hands her thing with the phone number and something else. I didn't catch what it was.
I thought it might have been some money.
Yeah. And there was one quick scene before that, which was
we missed
Wendy investigating Marty's computer.
That's right.
And she sees him leave. And I think this is right after she asks him about the stuff that happened while they were having sex the night before.
Right. Wendy asked Marty.
Yeah, she's kind of saying, you did some new things. Where did that come from? And he's kind of like,
he's like, I thought you liked that.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that. She goes, well, why would you think that? He goes, I don't know, I just thought you'd like it. And she's a little bit disturbed. He takes off and she goes right for his computer. And she can't unlock it at first with the password.
She looks at the consumer reports and takes one of the numbers off the subscription. And it turns out to be his password.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So she finds the video. And now she knows that he knows, or that he saw it. So
and that he's watched it hundreds of times.
Yeah, that he's watched it over and over and over. So the last bit of that scene with Wendy and Ruth, we just realized that Wendy and Marty are kinder to her than her own family, and it made me realize Ruth has no mother. We don't see any mother involved in that Langmores at all. We haven't even heard anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
Next
not
scene,
even another female, actually.
Yeah, there's not even. You're right. Not even another woman involved there.
Mm-hmm.
Next scene is a short little scene with Charlotte and Wendy, and Charlotte doesn't tell her what happened, but she asks about the toy chest. How did they lose my toy chest? And Wendy says, "Well, things just get lost sometimes."
I didn't realize the toy chest came up again. I thought that was just in passing. In episode 2 or whatever.
Now she asks, how did they lose my toy chest? So she's like, what happened to my childhood?
Mm-hmm.
And Wendy says, well, things just get lost sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is also a transcendent view coming from Wendy there. She doesn't try to comfort the blow, but just tries to let her know it's fine. Next we see Marty sees Ruth in the office at the Blue Cat, in his office at the Blue Cat. Excuse me. I wrote Ruth every time. This is ridiculous. Let me start over there. Marty sees Rachel, the owner of the Blue Cat, sitting there in his office, and she has the accounting books open.
The fuck it is that you are doing here, but it sure as hell ain't legal.
Let me explain it. It's very simple.
You lied to me.
I know I did. For a good reason.
This whole summer. It's all been camera angles like the photo with the fucking fish.
Look.
None of this is real.
Rachel, everything is working just fine. This can all be
I need you to
explained.
leave my property.
I can't leave. I'm not leaving. I have a target that I need to hit.
Okay, I need you to go now, please.
Listen to me. I have a target I need to hit. I need some more time. I need until the fall. Hey, listen. Hey, Rachel, listen to me. I work for somebody. Stop fucking around with the papers.
Marty, I need you to go now.
I heard you. I work for somebody, and if I don't hit my target, there's going to be men that are going to come here, that are going to kill me, they're going to kill my wife, and they're going to kill my kids. And she's like, Marty, she goes through and exposes that she knows he's lying and how he's laundering all this money. And she's like, you lied to me. He says, I know I did, for a good reason. And he's like, everything is going fine. And she's going through the papers and saying stuff. He's like, stop fucking around with the papers. I loved how he tried to handle it there.
And he's like, you're not fucking calling anyone. You're going to help. And she's like, I'm sorry, I can't help. He's like, my family's going to get killed. And she's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you with this. He's like, you better help me with this. He just doesn't let up. And then by the end, he just dumps over the entire desk and walks out. And she does hang up the phone. She doesn't want to get him killed.
Yeah, she's uncomfortable. I mean, she feels like she's being taken advantage of, which
She is completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was interesting at the end. The old game show Press Your Luck is on TV. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's essentially this array of TV screens, and then you press your luck if you want, and then you can get prizes, or it can hit a whammy, which means you lose everything you made up to then.
No.
And it's on at the Snell's house, this Press Your Luck thing. And it stops on a whammy. So I think that's a little bit of foreshadowing that things are about to get fucked up. Like all the progress that Marty has made with the Snells so far is about to end. Then we see Ash showing photos of the church to the Snells. And then we see Marty driving up and discovering the church, or the cross on the church. And he says, they put up a cross. He's leaving a message for Wendy. Answer the phone, goddammit. They put up a cross. Jesus, fuck, they put up a cross.
Hi, this is Wendy. Leave me a message.
They put up a cross. Jesus, fuck, they put up a cross.
And it ends.
And then it ends. Jesus, fuck, they put up a cross. So I think that's a great place to stop here. Anything else you guys wanted to bring up? Anything about Marty, the cross, Snells?
I don't think so. But anybody listening to this, think about the stuff that we briefly brought up at the start about the Book of Ruth and the Bible, and let us know if you catch anything there that you think
Is related to that.
Yeah, look up Book of Ruth. I thought it was interesting. It's the sign that the writers, the creators of this show, put a lot of resources into bringing this thing to life.
Yeah,
over many years, I'm sure. The layers are ever present.
Yeah, I get the sense the writing, a lot of the, at least the storyboarding and some of the writing took place ahead of time for laying out this story. There's so many elements that you couldn't do otherwise.
Yeah, I get the feeling that the writers have had this stewing for years and years.
Yeah, I get a definite sense of it. It's so polished in the depiction.
Mm-hmm.
And what's cool is when you let a story cook like that and you start telling it, number one, the elements available for you to tell the story at your disposal are many and extraordinary. And there's one of the marks of excellent TV writing is that the writing is dictated by the characters. And anytime that mediocre writing enters the picture, we see that the writing diverges from the character. The writing tries to supersede the character, take them in a different direction. For example, censors get involved, or
some kind of agenda takes precedent over character development, organic development.
And we see that in the end of Dexter, which I think they're resurrecting probably for that reason. The writing team changed. The character started doing things that was completely out of character for him. So the writers were doing whatever they wanted, not letting the character dictate the show. Now with something like Breaking Bad, you see the writing, I think the writers were scared where the character was taking them. The character becomes full evil disposition at some point, and the writers go with it.
Yeah, that's why these modern TV shows work so well when relaying the art of not giving a fuck in progress, because you know, you may not be comfortable with where your character is ending up.
Right, and that's all part of the story.
Yeah.
So in this case, I think the writers are bound. They seem completely bound by the characters, and that if there's a question that arises, then they go with what the character dictates. This is what would Marty Byrde do? What would Ruth do? And they're able to do that, and it's congruous.
Mm-hmm.
What we've seen up to now. In so doing, when they tell these stories, that's when you get really cool things coming up. Like maybe they didn't even mean to put the Martian Chronicles in there, but the actor that plays Wyatt had it on the set that day. You know what I mean? There's weird stuff that can start to happen when letting the story develop itself, and you're submitting to it as an author or as a creator.
Mm-hmm.
And in so doing, then all the elements of reality are going to conspire to tell that story.
Mm-hmm.
They'll also be bound by the characters. So every shot they do will have beautiful elements in it that they didn't even plan.
Yeah, that's something I get into after I've watched a show or watched an entire series. I'll go and listen to the creators and the writers and then let them give away some of their magic. Because right now I just want to absorb the finished product before I give it away, before I see how the magic happened behind, which is can take a little bit of the mystique away sometimes.
What we can do is we'll do an extra episode, and we'll do episode 11. So every 11th episode between the seasons, we can do one where we can all go, we'll check out what the writers had to say, what the actors had to say, and get into some of that a little bit about that season once we're finished with it.
The one thing I did see about these writers is that they are relatively new in film writing or film TV writing. This is basically their first script that's being brought to life.
Oh, wow.
And that's what had me think that this has been stewing for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there's a great art of not giving a fuck, victim to adventure story that those writers have too, as far as this story being available now and presented as it is now, when the writers themselves, perhaps they would have wanted to do it 5 years ago.
Right.
So it's like you want to, and this happens on a personal level, where you want to share your value with the world, but you aren't nearly you haven't cooked enough. You aren't the stew that you will be. So you aren't received.
Right. Well, and just read through the credits on any one of the episodes, or add them up between some of the episodes, and you end up with hundreds of people that it takes to actually put together even one episode of a show like that. So for a writer to finally see their work get handled by a gigantic team, it's got to feel similar to the feeling of a rock star for the first time hitting those strings on the guitar in the middle of a stadium, you know? Like their work amplified in that way.
Yeah. That someone just mentioned to me that Billy Corgan said they were playing with Smashing Pumpkins, were playing theaters or just bars where they would have 300 people, and then it was 2 months later it was arenas with 15,000. It's like the machine took over, and then it has an entire life of its own.
Yeah, can you imagine what it's like to just drop your fingers across the guitar strings and fucking hear it echoing through an entire stadium, through a whole city?
Jeez.
You know? Yeah, it's got to be mind-blowing. So yeah, the same thing with working with a team like that. And those of you listening, you might be artists. I hope you are. If you're not, you are and you don't know it. And you need to get started as soon as possible with anything you can get your hands on. It'll change your life. I guarantee it. But that you can up your game in this way. You can start to, so if you're but if you're only doing art for yourself at your house, take some photos of your favorite pieces, go to redbubble.com, get a free account, and make a t-shirt of one of your pieces. And then put it on and go wear it around town. Sell it to somebody. You know what I mean? Just take a step to amplify your own efforts in that way too. So it's always possible to rise up in whatever circumstances you're in with whatever resources you have. And we see Marty Byrde as a good example of that. So take heed and get creating, get having fun, find a team to work with, and make your own Ozark series or whatever it is you'd like to do. All right, folks, that's it for Book of Ruth. Nice talking to you guys, Lance and Taylor.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, guys.
Thanks, everybody, for listening. And again, if you saw stuff that we didn't see or want to add some comments to what we're doing here, go ahead and leave them in your review, in your honest review in iTunes on the Art of NGF podcast, or leave your more in-depth comments at radicalundoing.com. Go to the blog and then find the episode that you're listening to here. Should be easy enough to navigate. And we'll look forward to seeing you guys again on Ozark Talks number 7.
Getting used to betrayal.